Welcome to the Refine and Shine, the podcast dedicated to mastering the art of continuous improvement and optimizing every aspect of your life. I'm Angelina Rivera, your host, and together we'll uncover the secrets to refining our lives, our habits, and our processes to unlock our inner brilliance. Join us on Refine and Shine, where we'll delve deep into achieving more in life without the burnout and without all the stress. This podcast is your platform for a more fulfilling life through continuous improvement and personal growth. In each episode, I and a diverse array of guests discuss practical strategies for up-leveling every aspect of your life. From developing good habits and organizing your space to refining your mindset and personal goals, we're going to explore it all. Our guests share personal stories about the systems they've developed or systems they've used and the tweaks they've made in their lives when refinement was needed, allowing them to truly shine. Listen to Refine and Shine to learn how you can implement continuous improvement techniques in your daily routine, develop and maintain healthy habits that lead to success and satisfaction, organize your life to reduce the stress and increase your productivity, foster a growth mindset that propels you to new heights. My mission is to inspire you to take bold action, make positive changes, and become the best version of yourself. Whether you're aiming to elevate your career, nurture meaningful relationships, or enhance your overall well-being, Refine and Shine is your guiding light. With over 25 years of experience in continuous improvement, I help businesses streamline their processes, establish efficient work areas, and implement standard work protocols. I have trained over 600 individuals and teams in process improvement, optimizing workflows, and enhancing overall operational efficiency. Tune in every week as we embark on an enlightening journey, exploring paths to refinement and illuminating the way to shine in every area of our lives. Subscribe now and join us on this journey to polish your life and let your best self shine through. Thank you for joining us on Refine and Shine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine. Today's episode is deeply personal and filled with gratitude, reflection, and celebration. I'm sharing a very special story, one that's been 22 years in the making. It's about my daughter, Selena, who just turned 21. This episode is for all the moms out there who've worked through fear, faith, and fierce love to bring their babies into the world. Let's talk about the scary beginning. When I first found out I was pregnant with Selena, I was terrified. After experiencing a miscarriage earlier, which I talked about in the launch of this podcast, this new pregnancy brought out so many emotions. I didn't tell many people at first, and then within 3 months of being pregnant, I was put on bed rest due to complications. I remained on bed rest from 3 months to 6 months, and it was just a very difficult time, not just emotionally, but physically and mentally as well. I barely gained any weight during the pregnancy, but there was one thing I was craving. I couldn't shake. It was those drumstick ice cream cones. Every single day, my husband had to bring me one daily. Funny enough, Selena isn't even a fan of ice cream, or at least those kind of flavors that I used to crave. So let's talk about the uncertainty and faith. So we had no idea what we were having when I was pregnant with Selena. Despite all the sonograms and visits, Selena kept it a surprise. My mom, who makes blankets for all her grandchildren, ended up making 2, one for a boy and one for a girl. And we even brought 2 different outfits. And I told my mom, if I have a boy, you wash these clothes. If I have a girl, you wash these clothes. And at the same time as I was pregnant, we were waiting to close escrow on a house. And I was working down the hill. So I was driving up and down the Cajon Pass. And if you're from Southern California, you know what I'm talking about. And every time I would drive back home and reach the top of the pass, I would start to have contractions. I started going into labor. And so I had to go in to get the shots to make sure that stop the labor, make sure that my daughter was developing okay, and all the things. And while all of this was going on and all the stuff going on, like I said, didn't know what we were having because Selena just made it a surprise for us. We finally closed house on the escrow. Well, they took me off of work, and then we finally closed house on the escrow the day before I went into labor. And let me tell you about my wild labor story. Labor with Selena was a whirlwind. I went into the hospital and they decided to keep me. And I remember asking for someone to help me, something to help me rest, because I had taken two warm baths and the contractions were just getting really intense, but they weren't consistent. And so I just wanted some help with some resting. Like I said, we had just closed escrow on the house. We had just like started moving into the house. And we were actually a few days early from delivery, but when they decided to keep me, I just felt so exhausted. And I was like, I just want something to help me rest. And so within minutes, they decided they had to check to make sure that I wasn't, I was at a stage in the delivery that I wasn't going to have her right away. And so then they agreed, they checked me, agreed that we would give me some medication. And within minutes of getting the medication, I guess it relaxed me mentally because the medicine hadn't even taken effect, but I was ready to push. And so I started calling and they're like, you're not ready. And I'm like, I'm ready. The doctor literally had barely ran in and had to catch Selena. It all happened so fast. And I barely knew what was going on, but I cried, laughed, and thanked God because my daughter was here. Like I said, we didn't know the gender, but we had her name ready. In fact, we had her name picked out years before. When me and my husband started dating, we talked about our children's names. But we had her name ready, and my husband, he's the one that made the final decision that for sure we were going to call her what we called her, what we named her. And she is and was and will always be my beautiful blessing. So let's talk about her early years. Selena has always been a little ahead of her time. She walked before we thought she was ready. In fact, she was ready before we knew she was ready. And one day we woke up and we were like, where is Selena? We found her running down the hallway while she was walking and sneaking in snacks. And when she's noticed us, she dropped to the floor and began crawling like nothing happened. It's just the kind of person she was. She potty trained herself on vacation while we were at SeaWorld. Um, she told us she had to go to the restroom, and we're like, okay. And that whole weekend, she just, every time she said she had to go to the restroom, hurry up and take her, and she went. And so basically potty trained herself. Um, and she started reading at the age of 3. And she's been challenging herself ever since. So let's talk about her growing into her greatness. In high school, she was already taking college classes. She earned her associate's degree before her high school diploma. But life hasn't always been easy for Selena. Selena's had faced health challenges and like her ADHD and her severe scoliosis, which she has 2 curves in her back. But still, she doesn't let it stop her. She keeps going, keeps showing up, and keeps shining. Selena's the one who always challenges me, and I appreciate that. She's always been the kind of person, like I said, who challenges me in the best possible way. She always challenges me to think bigger, to look at things differently, and to always grow into the best version of myself. We've done so many adventures together, taken road trips, shared long talks, and made memories that I'll treasure forever. One of my favorite memories is our road trip to Arizona, touring colleges together. She eventually went to college in Arizona for a brief time, and watching her plan everything out so diligently and execute it with all confidence filled me with such pride. She's always had such an incredible gift: creativity, talent, design, planning, you name it. She has a gift for crafting like no other. Whether it's a handmade gift, a detailed project, or just organizing something in her unique way, her creativity shines. And she's always been so independent. I remember the time that she wanted to learn how to ride her bike without training wheels. She told her dad to take them off, determined to do it all on her own. Well, when she started riding her bike, she fell. But what'd she do? She immediately put the training wheels back on herself because that's who she is. She doesn't wait for someone to fix it. She figures it out and keeps going on her terms. I just want to talk a little bit about her talents and just a little bit more about memories. Selena is an amazing baker, and she definitely did not get that talent from me. And she's been the queen of Post-it notes, color coding everything in high school. She would color code her notes and all the things to keep her organized. She's sharp, she's organized, and she just loves helping others. Some of my favorite memories with her, like I said, we did lots of things together, but one of my favorites also was when we'd go get our nails done or our hair done. And I'll never forget the time, and this is when she was very young. Um, she told me that her dad said she could get highlights. So I took her to the salon. We were at my appointment and we were going to get her haircut, but she's like, Dad said I can get highlights. I said, okay. So I took her, like, let her get her highlights. And when she got home, he he said, what did you do? Turns out he meant Sunday, not that day, but she took that opportunity. She loved playing soccer, basketball, and just dance. She's a great cook. Her spaghetti is like seriously next level. And she's done so many 5Ks and races with me too. She's always been my cheerleader, my encourager, and my joy. One of the things I also loved was that she loved tattoos, and she would have my husband put tattoos on her arms, and just like put a tattoo sleeve when she was younger. It's just those little things that Selena always did. Um, I just love her so much, and I'm so thankful for her. So, Selena, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you for being everything I needed, even before I needed you. You've pushed me, you've inspired me, and you brought me so much laughter and love into my life. Through every challenge, you've shown strength. Through every joy, you've shared your heart. I'm so incredibly proud of the woman you're becoming, and I know that God gave me a special gift the day you were born. I love you with all my heart. Happy 22nd birthday, my beautiful girl. So thank you everyone for tuning in to this heartfelt episode of Refine and Shine. If today's episode moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own journey of motherhood or resilience, I'd love for you to share this with someone who needs it. So until next time, keep shining.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Refine and Shine. We hope you find valuable insights and inspiration to fuel your journey of continuous improvement. Remember, the key to success lies in refining your processes and letting your inner brilliance shine. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated and helps us reach more listeners like you who are eager to refine and shine in all areas of life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and additional resources and behind-the-scenes content. We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to reach out with any suggestions, questions, or success stories you'd like to share. As we wrap up, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you. Keep striving for growth, embracing change, and seeking opportunities to refine your skills. Together, let's continue to shine bright and make a positive impact in the world. And until next time, keep refining and keep shining.